I'm Gabe, that's Tommy, and welcome to episode 2 of Narrative Numbers and Nonsense, a weekly show and podcast where we're going to break down the sports world by combining our two perspectives, which are the fan-driven narratives and deep statistical context. We think through matchups, teams, and storylines, play some games, give bold takes, and react to where the numbers and market are guiding us to make more insightful predictions. Today's episode is going to be packed. A lot of great games this week. I'm excited to get into it. Before we jump into today's game, Tommy, is there anything you'd like to add?
Um, all I know is last week was a great week. We had a great talk about certain aspects of each game. I thought we covered quite well. But yeah, I'm down to get right into it. Let's get into it.
Yeah, you had a successful episode of some of your picks and angles, so we'll definitely break that down. Before we get into breaking down last week and this week, we're going to play the game, and I'll explain that next. The way that this week's game is going to work is a little bit different. I'm not going to be doing a blind resume like last week. We're actually going to be doing a immaculate grid, but putting another little spin on it. So the way an immaculate grid usually works is you've got the three categories on the left and the three categories across the top, and you want to fill in that grid with players who kind of match both categories. And usually it's for one sport, but instead we're going to be doing two sports, and there's going to be a little twist. So actually, this can be a little bit tough to visualize if you're only listening, but I'll try to make it easy. You're going to have the top left box, the center box, and the bottom right box filled in with players, but you're actually not going to have any of the categories. So what this is going to do is going to give you a sense of each of the six categories, and you're going to have to reverse engineer what those categories are by asking questions and then filling in the rest of the grid. So I'm going to show Tommy the three players that are on it, and I'm going to give him a little bit of a hint at what these categories are. Otherwise, it would just be, way too hard because you could really have any category. And these categories are going to be very explicit. So it's not things that are kind of hard to quantify, or going to be really clear things to ask. Like, oh, this guy is this position. This guy won this award. So that's kind of how to look at it. So for this week's grid, Tommy, the top left player is Eli Manning, the center player is Derrick Rose, and the bottom
Okay.
right player is Giannis Antetokounmpo. And
Okay.
the
Yep.
categories, so there's two categories that are related to kind of accolades and achievements. There's two
Okay.
categories that are related more to their bio or kind of a characteristic of the player. And then
Okay.
there
Yep.
is two categories that have to do with franchises.
Okay. So top left, Eli Manning, Derrick Rose, Giannis in
Yep,
a diagonal. Okay, sweet.
exactly.
Is the middle row have to do with their uh an MVP season? Because Derrick Rose is in the middle.
No,
No, okay. Um,
no MVP categories.
no MVP carries at all. Okay. Um, is one more related to football, or are they all related to just accolades and generalization
Um, None are specifically related to
to a
football.
sport? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is one zone related to championships? One.
Yes.
Okay. So Giannis has won one. Derrick Rose has not won any. Eli has won two. Is the top row dedicated to winning championships, like this way
Yes.
across?
The dark red is
All right,
one a chip. So you've got that
all right,
category.
perfect.
So to clarify, sorry, because I referred to the top row as the dark red for people listening. The top three players across the grid are players that won a championship.
Okay. Would Steph Curry work in the middle row? Top middle row.
No.
Okay. Does the far right row have to do with a specific championship?
No, it does not.
So none of them have to do with anything specific championships, but the top one is just to do with winning a championship.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Derrick Rose. He won MVP. Youngest MVP. Does that have anything related to it?
No, but you're on the right track with Young and awards.
Um, oh, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, middle column is one rookie of the year. So that's what you know about Derrick Rose.
Okay. So above Derrick Rose, won a chip, Rookie of the Year.
You've got that one nailed, so I'd maybe start trying to get the rest of the grid, because that one you can just
Yeah.
once it comes to you.
Okay. Is the Eli Manning column related to statistics?
No, this one's one of the team related ones.
A New York team?
Bang, New York team, exactly what the column's titled.
Okay, 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 okay.
So you've got a number one
Um,
overall draft pick in a New York team and right below Eli Manning.
um, so New York team, first left column, middle is Rookie of the Year. Left row is won a chip. Middle row is first overall. All right, first overall New York team. I'm thinking Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, that's the one that fits
All right,
there.
perfect. All right, so Eli Manning, Patrick Ewing. Okay. Does the right column have to do with the Bucks?
No, it doesn't have to do with the Bucks.
Has it have to do with being uh Finals MVP?
No, it's not award related actually. It's just team related.
All right, yeah, whatever. New York, I have Patrick Ewing under Eli Manning. So I have to figure out what the yellow one is. The bottom row. Does it have to do with a city or a state?
No, it has to do with location. Yes.
Craziest last name.
That's you
Um,
kind of
um,
you're getting onto it. You're getting warmer with craziest last name, but no, it has
oh,
to be
oh, oh,
craziest
oh,
last
oh,
name.
oh, oh, oh. Outside the U.S.
Born
player
outside the U.S. That's the bottom row.
is
So
the
you need a New York
bottom
team and
row.
a Rookie of the Year that are born outside of
All
the
right,
U.S.
sweet, sweet, sweet. OG Ananobi.
Yeah, he was born
Would
out.
that work?
Is he born in the Netherlands?
Yeah,
Where is he born? Right,
I think
somewhere.
it was Canada.
Canada. Oh, I'm thinking of some other guy, but yeah, that would work. New
Let
York
me
team,
look. Let me
born
look. All
outside
right,
the
let me
U.S.
look real quick. OG Ananobi.
British, British.
Yeah, England. Bang.
Bang.
All right. So bottom. So it's Eli Manning, Patrick Ewing, OG, LeBron, Rose, Luca,
Hmm.
and then the final row. I need one a chip and first overall, but I don't know what's related to that specific column.
Yeah.
Does that specific column have anything to do with being the highest point scorer on a team? Does it have to
No,
do with points?
it is purely here, I'll give you this. It is purely about franchise. There's nothing else
Oh,
quality. Like there's
oh,
no
oh,
other
oh.
quality to this.
A player that's only played for one
One
franchise.
team, bang. One team
All right,
only.
bro. Won a chip, played for one team. I would say Magic. Magic top right. I think he never
Yeah,
played anywhere else besides the Lakers.
yeah, I had Kobe, so
The same thing. Yeah, yeah. First overall pick, played for only one team. Cooper Flag works for that.
wow, that does work. You're right. I had Miles Garrett. There you go. All right, nice,
There we go,
nice,
bang.
nice. So next we're gonna do a Tommy's gonna do a blind resume instead of the Immaculate Grid, but this week it's gonna be three sports. So I'll be guessing an MLB, NBA, and NFL player, I believe. So I'll let him set that up.
Exactly. Your three players are going to be one MLB player, one NBA player, one NFL player. They're all from the same city. And I'm going to give you their stats right now. And let's get into it.
All right.
So, your first player, MLB player, he has a 92 games played, uh, OPS of 88. Oh, no. OPS plus of 88, OPS of 669. He has 10 home runs and an RBI of 37.
Okay. Got it.
Next player, he is a tight end NFL. He has 60 receptions. He's had 7 total touchdowns. and 726 scrimmage yards. Next player, NBA player. He is a shooting guard. In this specific season, he has had 30 games played, 30 games started, 17.6 points per game, 4 assists per game, four rebounds per game.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so first MLB. Can we get his player's position?
First baseman.
First baseman. Okay. All right. Got a first baseman is not great at hitting power, which is pretty useless. That's interesting. Um, we got a 17. So that's the big guys. 17, 4 and 4 from the NBA. And what was his
This was
position?
his second worst season, by the way.
The baseball player.
In between the baseball player, in between his seasons, he's had over a lot more home runs for his season before and his season
Okay, got it.
after.
Interesting.
So I guess this one season he wasn't too good.
And how many plate appearances? Like 300 or so.
381.
Okay.
In between 684, 649. Year
So he
before, year after.
might have been injured a bit. Didn't have a great year, is what it seems like. First baseman. We've got an NFL running back, oh, tight end, sorry, tight end, who had about
Tight end.
600, 550 scrimmage yards, 7 touchdowns, and played the whole season, right? NBA is a guard, point guard,
Shooting guard.
shooting guard. Okay, so shooting guard. Okay. Does this NBA player primarily create off ball? So he's just like a spot up three shooter. Doesn't really create with the ball.
I would say so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Was so he's more of a wing guy, secondary guy. Is this guy still on the same team in the current season?
Yes.
Okay, cool,
Yes.
cool, cool. So let's start getting location down. We've got a few basics on these guys. Are we in the AFC for the football player?
No.
We're in the NFC. Okay. Are we on the East Coast?
Uh no.
Okay, so we're not on the coast. We're in the NFC. We could be in the North is kind of full of teams that aren't coastal. With Detroit, you got Green Bay can't work. You got Minnesota, so Detroit, Minnesota. We could go. Are we in the NBA West?
East.
Okay, we're in the East, but we're not on the coast. So we're probably in Minnesota, Detroit, Indiana doesn't have a baseball team. Georgia, Atlanta does have. Okay, so we could be in Atlanta because they're in the NFC. We could be in Minnesota, and we can be in Detroit, is what I've been thinking. Are we in the southern half of the United States? Okay, are we
No.
in Detroit? Perfect.
Correct. There we go.
We've got a hitter who had, wow, so he had two better. Is this hitter in what was his position again? Sorry, he's a first baseman.
I think he's first baseman, yeah.
Is this was he a
Yeah.
first round draft pick, the MLB player?
First round draft pick? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, yes. Spencer Torkelson?
Correct. Bang.
Perfect. Yeah, he had a big year
Yeah,
this year after a slump. First overall pick, I think. And
exactly.
then
Yeah, there we
are we
go. There we go.
is it
Oh,
Jaden
exactly.
Ivey?
Wow, 2 for 2.
Perfect.
One
He's
more.
having a down year right now. He's not really getting much usage. They're playing
Yeah.
like Dennis Jenkins and
Yeah.
Ron Holland and hey, they're good though. They're good.
But
Okay, so we're in Detroit. We need a tight end, and it's Laporta. It's got to be
come
Laporta,
on.
right?
Come
Yeah.
on.
Bang.
Bang. There
All
you go.
right.
3 for 3.
Nice. There
There
we
you go.
go.
That's good.
All right, cool. So first game we are going to talk about is we're going to get into some hockey this week because there's a big primetime game tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, some national televised hockey. Got the Devils at the Golden Knights. The lines they're hanging are about start. It opened at about minus 185 plus 155, but then there was news that it was going to be Carter Hart, one of the backup goalies for the Knights. So it's crashed down to about minus 160. But Vegas is still the better
Mhm.
team. They're really good at limiting shots. They're allowing, I think, 25 shots per game, and they're really strong on the penalty kill as well as on the power play themselves, while the Devils are a little bit weak there. So this is kind of mapping, not really as a shootout, but as a Vegas controls defensively, gets on the power play, converts a few times, probably 3-2, maybe 4-2 type of game, I think. The line's about 5.5 on the over-under. So everything about the lines is screaming about right, but there's some shifts in the injuries and in the lineups and usage that gives us some opportunities here, I think, to convert, especially on Vegas and the power play. So some of the guys I'm looking at, especially with news that Jack Eichel, their main creator, is out. I'm looking at Mitch Marner, for example, who's going to be centering power play one. He's playing on the first line. Should have a lot of opportunities to get involved, especially with Eichel out and against a Devils team that's only 75% on the kill, while Vegas is 25% on conversion on the power play, which is kind of the biggest statistical discrepancy here in this game. And the fact that the goalies aren't going to be the top guys for either team, I don't think, is only going to help some potential scoring opportunities or just some loose pucks to get into the net. So, on top of Marner, I also like looking at a few goal scorers here. Some guys I'm looking at on the Knights would be Mark Stone to get involved on the power play at about 200 plus 200, I think. He's going to be playing that first line with Mitch Marner. He's going to be playing power play one. He gets involved on the power play. And again, especially with Eichel out, you're looking for your other veterans to center the power play, as well as Tomas Hertl, who's on the second line, and he's the main goal scorer for them on that second line. He's paying about plus 200, I think, for a goal. So a few long shots here to get some money in on some maybe not high volume, but high conversion opportunities for Vegas on the power play. And then if you want to look at a Devils side angle, I'm looking at Luke Hughes to get involved with some shots on goal. His shots have been up. He's got 3+ in 5 of his last 9, 3 of his last 5. And I think the Devils might end up being in a little bit of a hey, we got to chase and shoot the puck at the net, even if we're far from the net, even if it's a low percentage opportunity of third down. If they give up one or two power play goals, they're going to be chasing a little bit. And with some injuries on their side, I think Timo Meyer is out. Someone else, I forgot who it is right now. So looking for the defense to maybe have a few shots on goal, just try and get some action for the Devils going. And that's playing plus 185. So when you look at the historical hit rate
Yeah.
versus the implied odds of the event, you're getting a lot of money in the past 9, 10 games. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for that. You got any I know you're not a hockey guy, Tom. You got anything you got to add, or is that
I'm not a
sounding
guy.
convincing to you? Sounding
No,
convincing?
I'm just in agreement with you. I don't
Yeah.
know too much about
Yeah,
hockey,
yeah,
but
perfect.
I,
So just to wrap up, I think my favorite angles on this one get these this is tonight in a couple hours, so it's just to get this out there, get you a little bit of hockey talk going on an exciting game. Mitch Marner to have 1 assist is paying minus 125 at DraftKings. You got Tomas Hertl to score a goal, paying plus 200, and Mark Stone to record a power play point, paying plus 200 at both at Bet365, and then Luke Hughes to record 3 shots on goal at plus 185. So some plus odds, and then Mitch Marner to kind of center the card right there with the minus 125. All right, so
like that.
with that, I think we're going to get into some Thursday night football. I know it's a big section. Tom's got a lot for us. I've already got a lot from what I've seen
Yeah,
in this
yeah,
game. So take it away.
yeah. So going back to Thursday Night Football, what I talked about, Kirk Cobain, some would say,
300 something.
nothing to lose for. He threw for 375 or something like that. I had him
Jeez,
at
man.
200. Baker to throw two. It was close, but he hit that. Abuka had 55. I had him at 40. Mike Evans for 3 receptions. He had six
Yes,
for
yeah. So your
133.
8 leg parlay hit plus 1400, and then I trailed Evans and Pitts, and then those two guys, the two guys we talked about the most together, ended up going for 150 yards like each. And you had
It's
the
crazy. It was
over.
crazy.
You even said Atlanta's going to be competitive, and they came back and won the game on a game-winning
They won the
field
game.
goal.
It was crazy.
So
It
yeah,
was crazy.
everything you
Yeah.
said was basically spot on for that game.
But yeah. That's what I'm saying. I know we talked last week about the Bengals Ravens game, which Gabe was kind of hesitant on. It was 24-0. and the Ravens ended up winning that game. But I think just for something to look at for the future, I think especially competitive teams, like I was wrong about the Bengals. I thought they'd be a little more competitive. They
Right,
just
right.
had too many turnovers and too many poor decisions down the line, ended up getting eliminated. But especially looking out from now until the end of the season, I think the divisional games are something to look at just because of how even if a team has no chance of making the playoffs, they have a chance to prove themselves in the league. Like Raheem Morris, that
Yeah,
game showed out.
The Saints just beat the Panthers with nothing to win for, just to kill your
Unfortunately,
dreams, right? Every
unfortunately, yeah,
divisional
yeah.
game. Yeah.
Every divisional game, like that game, uh,
Bills Pats,
technically, Bills Pats. What I say, Bills
huge
Pats was a
comeback win.
massive game.
Like,
My whole angle for that game was that the Bills were gonna be down, or
right.
the Patriots were gonna be down early on. They're gonna play pickup, and the Bills were gonna end up winning in the
Just
over.
flipped on them.
And I basically scripted that, but unfortunately, the Patriots are up 21-0 to the
Yeah,
game.
yeah, other
Bills came
direction. You
out.
had the over
Bills
there though.
came,
Had the over. Good hit.
yeah, still the over, still had the Bills winning, but I think especially for close games in the divisional are something to look out for. But yeah, Thursday night football, we hit our 8 leg parlay plus it was actually plus 1,500 the next day if you took
There
it.
you go.
So that was very important.
Yeah,
But
so big stuff. Big
what
success
I'm
from
what
football last week. But so
yeah.
what are you looking at this week? Talk to me.
Rams at Seahawks. I think that's a great game to look at.
Yeah.
Seahawks that last game. Philip Rivers, he's a grandfather. He's got a little grand puppy under his belt.
Field goals,
And the
only
fact that
field goals.
yeah, I think there's a lot of good player props to talk about. And so um I'm not gonna go into my parlay just yet, but I'm gonna talk about what players offensive and defensive style I think are gonna have a big
Hmm.
impact in those games or that game. I think Stafford he's gonna need to pass the ball. I don't think Devontae's gonna play. Puka's been playing out of his mind and a bunch of young guys like Jordan Whittington, Mumfield, Parkinson, Kyron gets a lot of receptions. I think it's going to be a big passing game. I don't necessarily know if they're going to pass long for scores or XYZ. I just think both teams are going to rely on passing the ball in that game. I think both defenses, especially, have a lot of holes in their offensive passing game. And so I think Stafford's going to go off. And like we've been talking about this, I think Kyron's gonna have a good game, but I think a little angle to look at is Corum. Corum has had a crazy uh, couple of recent games. He's gotten a good amount of snaps, but his production doing the snaps has been ridiculous.
Yeah, he has
Like
5.5 yards per carry, third in the NFL. Yeah.
it's crazy. And what I've been looking at is it's gonna be a crazy hot take, but I think Corum and Kyron are kind of competing for that
I
David
agree.
Montgomery,
I
Jameer
agree.
Gibbs duo.
I
And
agree.
it's just like no one talks about Corum. Everyone thinks Kyron's a good back, but his past 4 games, he's gotten 71, 128, 81, 24.
He's been getting carries
And like
consistently.
the average carries he's got is probably like 9 or 10 in those
Yeah, his
four
line's
games.
9.5, so
And the fact that he's gotten 4 touchdowns in those 4 games, I think that especially when Kyron gets the ball going early on, like I don't want to target him too much, just in the case that he gets a decent amount of action and doesn't
yeah, so
perform.
I kind of got
I
a
think
quorum adjacent angle to play off of you here. I totally agree with what you're saying. I took Kyron's over rushing yards, but I really was struggling to choose between the two. I grabbed it at 52.5 like 2 days ago, so I just felt like too low. I think he's missed
rushing,
that number, yeah, once or twice the whole season. So I had that over 52.5. But what I like more is Corum to kind of cannibalize Kyron's usage a little bit. I agree. But I
exactly, exactly,
didn't love
exactly.
Corum's prices because it felt like Vegas knew that people might be thinking that. So I found this weird angle, and it's to kind of do a negative correlation with Kyron's under 13.5 rush attempts, but over scrimmage yards and over rushing yards. And that pays, if you take 40 plus rushing yards, which he hasn't missed this season, and under 13.5 attempts combined, you're
Oh,
getting plus
Kyron, you said
210.
Corum. You meant Kyron.
Kyron, yes, Kyron. And so the idea is that, hey, Kyron can still work efficiently. He might get involved in the passing game too and get some scrimmage yards through
Mhm.
that. But he's not going to have high volume of carries because Corum's kind of been eating into that and also been the more efficient
Yeah.
back. And so I think it might
Yep.
be kind of a committee backfield here. So between my angle of reverse correlation or Kyron and your angle of just take Corum's over or maybe Corum to get in the end zone, I think it's like plus 240. I think that's a
Yeah.
great angle. It's like this might be a little bit more of a committee backfield, like a Gibbs Montgomery situation. Absolutely.
I agree. I 100% agree
And
with that.
then
So
on
then my
passing
next angle,
touchdowns, you were saying you liked there to be some passing touchdowns. Didn't know exactly where they were. I think that the
yeah,
Stafford price is just too low. The books were hanging like plus 100, like plus 105 for him to have two, and he's had that at almost 12 or 14 games this season, I think. So it's just like
yeah,
I think they're over adjusting to, hey, it's going to be rainy and windy and I don't know. Seattle's
exactly.
defense is good. Seattle's defense is the best in the league at limiting rushing touchdowns, not passing. Like they're good against
Yeah,
both, but
yeah,
if
yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be one, it's going to be passing, I think.
I agree. All right, so then my next angle I was looking at Parkinson
Love
have a
that.
pretty good game. Yeah, with no Devontae, Parkinson has been great. I think these Seahawks are not too good against tight ends. Like I said, McBride's been going off against them as well.
Yeah, they're
And
about middle of
so
the
I,
league against tight ends.
yeah, like his past four games, 75, 32, 27, 41. And he's averaged four receptions per game. And he's got four touchdowns in those
Yeah,
four
he's good
games.
at huge ends. And without Devontae,
I do,
you need a
I
tight end.
that's why I just want to like double down on like I think Stafford to pass the ball is gonna go well. Like all these other people are looking at like, oh, Devontae's out. But like he's got so many outlets to pass to as well. Like he's a strong, savvy quarterback where he knows that there are going to be players to have those opportunities that Devontae's going to miss out on,
Hmm.
like Tutu or Terrence Ferguson or Mumfield, like you were talking about, or even like Kyron and Corum to like launch it down to them. I think Stafford to look at passing yards is especially like someone to look at. I was also looking at you were talking about passing touchdowns with Stafford. I think Darnold's is especially kind of opportunistic.
Yeah, I
Like
was
I'm
looking
gonna
at
keep
that. It was about plus 120 for two touchdowns, I think. I,
plus
I
120
think I
for
was
two touchdowns. Yeah,
tempted. I just couldn't. I couldn't like. I wanted a little bit more juice, like 130, 140.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree. But I just think that especially that I think the Rams run defense is pretty good with Jared Verse and their linebackers are pretty good. I think his name's Landman.
Yeah,
I
Nate
don't know his
Landman.
name.
I've got a bet on Nate Landman for
Yeah,
this game, man. I
yeah.
think maybe I'll
There we go.
maybe I'll
But yeah,
expose that.
I think they got good run defense. Like I'm not gonna pinpoint who's gonna throw for what, but I just think the Seahawks have JSN, the best wide
Yeah,
receiver
you got JSN
this
and
season.
Puka, like the two best, basically.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people are on this, but I like Puka especially just
Just
receptions.
a
I know he
floor
loves his
floor
yards.
receptions. He's not going to go below a certain amount.
Exactly,
Exactly.
exactly. Because it's like I get it. Like he could break out for a couple. He could get like five for like 100, which he like does a
He
bunch.
doesn't really
But
do that though.
Without Devontae, if I'm Stafford, I'm looking at that Puka
Hmm.
Nacua Geese, and I'm gonna pass him a couple balls. And so I think he's gonna get some receptions. Um, and yeah, and then my touchdowns I kind of like. I think I like Kyron at plus 120, JSN at plus 115. Both guys are kind of undervalued. JSN didn't score last week. Actually, no one scored in the last Seahawks game. But I just think that this game is very intriguing for props, especially. Like I don't especially know who's going to win the game. We
I
talked about this
I
the other
think it's a
day.
bit
Like,
of a trap on the touchdown lines. I don't love I think like it's not that I don't think JSN and Kyron are the most likely to get in the end zone, but I don't know if I think that I'm paying anything close to like plus 110 for a touchdown in this game. Just because first of all both teams have committee backfields. Both teams like to also sling the football. And then you have a
mhm,
weather factor, and you have the top two defenses in the NFL at stopping drives in the red zone. So my
yeah,
only concern is I like taking a few long shots, like for example, Colby Parkinson, maybe Corum.
hmm
But I struggle to lay both guys that are plus 110 because I just don't see there being that like there could be a shootout. These are great offenses, but I don't
I
see
agree. Yeah,
enough angles where this becomes a shootout and we cash a bunch of overs. So that's why I was a little bit more reserved on scoring overs, but I liked Parkinson a lot, and also I know I've been on this the Kanata month field just in case. Devontae Adams has basically taken this guy under his wing. The Rams have reported like he is his mentor, and he is potentially designed to take Devontae Adams snaps in situations that he would not be in. So at plus 900 to get the end zone, I thought that was huge value. But I struggle to, I think this is one of those games where you kind of look at like, oh, they're giving us a decent price on all these guys who find the end zone all the time. Charbonnet, JSN, Puka,
yeah,
Tyron. Can they all find the end zone when the total's 44.5? That's only implying four
exactly.
or five
I agree.
touchdowns. You're building your picks, and you can't.
No, I agree. I totally
Some
agree.
games you can't have everything happen. That's basically all I'm getting.
Exactly. Exactly. But what I'm gonna say before we end this Thursday night football segment is for anyone that's watching that loves getting a little roll the dice action. Here's my second time Thursday night football parlay.
Let's
We're
hear
one
it.
for one.
Let's hear it.
If you're looking for it, it's plus 3,500. What I would take Stafford 220, Corum 40 rushing receiving if you can find that. Parkinson 25, Kyron touchdown. Darnold to sling for two touchdowns. Puka to receive 7 receptions. I could like 6 at plus.
I like 7. I like 7.
This to
I
be
was looking at his logs.
boom perfect. And then I talked about this earlier. Like they could get stopped, but I like Walker, Kenneth Walker to have 50 RR. He's gotten that a bunch this season. He's gotten stopped, I think, last game and probably 2 games before that. But I think he's going to get involved a bunch early on. Like I was looking at his touchdown, but like we talked about, it's a Charbonnet or Kenneth Walker uh, dice roll. But I think he starts off the game. He get a little action early on. And so I like him 50 RR. He gets some receptions as well. And then JSN touchdown. Plus 3,500 if you're listening right now and like a little roll the dice. I'm personally going to take it. You'll see it
I
on the
don't hate
TikTok,
this.
but
Really, the only so you basically need a 21-14 game because you need those passing touchdowns and then you need
yeah,
rushing and receiving from the Rams. I'm saying
yeah.
21-14 on touchdowns. So you're looking at an over, but there is routes to hit with the price you're paying, and also all of your floor bets like the receiving and those I think are pretty sound. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I'll just do a quick recap on what I've got running for this game. I haven't given this one yet, but maybe my favorite angle in this game, especially if this game's going to be played in the trenches. Tom mentioned him, Nate Landman. I'm looking at Nate Landman over 7.5 tackles and assists. Combine that with Leonard Williams over 1.5 tackles on the Seahawks. Leonard Williams has hit this
I
number
love that. I love
12
that. I
of
love that.
14 times this season. 12 out of 14.
I
And we
love
are
that.
only going to have more running and tackles in the box when it's raining. Even on tight ends, Nate Landman,
Exactly.
tight end, slant over the middle,
Exactly.
tackle. You get tackles in the box in these type of game scripts. Divisional games actually, for some reason, have higher tackles in the box because teams like to pass short and quick and be efficient. So
Hmm.
I think it's perfect, and that's paying plus 180 to combine those two. Both are hitting way higher than their implied prices. Like I
That's
said, I
great.
like the Kyron play. Get a little reverse correlation on his under carries as well as his over yards. Konata, long shot. Stafford, some passing touchdowns. And then a few
And
reception
then
angles. I've got Parkinson to find the zone, and then a little floor parlay for those who want some pieces, maybe to build a bigger parlay or just like a safe play. Cooper Kupp to have 20 yards and Colby Parkinson to have 3 receptions. That's paying about minus 120 combined.
also we talked about I think field goal is also a good angle. Rainy
Field
game,
goals, I love the field goal
a
angle.
little
I
windy.
caution the prices were a little bit too juiced for me to kind of know, oh, what side am I going to take? What if there's 4 field goals on one
I agree. I
side,
agree. I
one on
agree.
the other? So I just stayed off that. I think that it's priced in a little bit, but yes, I do think it's a game where be careful with like
Or
there
even
could be
even
a
even
lot of
even kicking
offense and not a lot of finishing is what I think is to be careful.
exactly. Like I think
Jason
each game
Myers
is
has
like
hit his number 5 times in a row. I did see that. So if you want to go on
exactly.
one side, maybe
Exactly.
to take the Seahawks if you're more comfortable. Yeah. All right. I
I
think
agree.
we're pretty aligned on a lot of those angles. Maybe some
Yeah.
niche guys, some pass volume, I think is kind of the idea that we're looking at.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay, so next up, we're going to talk about this Friday college football playoff game. We talked about it a little bit last week, kind of gave you our more macro level breakdown. We're on the Bama side. We think they're the more legit team. I'm backing Kalen DeBoer. I love him as a coach. I think he's a winner. I think he's got the boys ready. I think Oklahoma's a little. John Mateer's got some questionable stats. Like he can run the ball really well, great rushing QB, but like you got to get the ball in the air. You got to play good football. You got to get the ball to your receivers. You got to play well on the ground. You can't just have your QB do everything when you get to this level of play. And
Yeah,
also, when Oklahoma beat Bama, we didn't really talk about this. It was basically on a few like major blunders. Bama kind of was
I
controlling
agree.
that game for the most part. So the angle I'm looking at here, just for a simple bet, is Bama money line and under 45.5. Because I think if Bama plays the game the way they want to, they keep it in the trenches, they slow it
I
down.
agree. I agree.
It stays. I altered the under from 40.5 because it's a really low number, and that 45
I
and a
know.
half
You,
number.
you know me. I love my overs, but I agree with that. I think unders a
This
smart
is
play.
that one game, yeah, where I think it's just run the ball. They got. I mean, Mateer can run. Both teams have two good running backs. Both teams love to run clock. Both teams have great lines, incredible defenses. So it's going to be really
Yeah.
hard to get the ball in the zone. But that being said, the other three angles I've got here, I was looking the other day, and these books are really confused on how to price the anytime touchdowns in this game. Like you're seeing crazy price differences between major books. So, for example, I'm looking at Torrey Blaylock, the second running back out of Oklahoma, to get the into the end zone at plus 410. And you're looking at that at FanDuel, but at Bet365 and DraftKings, they're hanging lines of 120 and 150. So that's maybe one of the craziest differences I've ever seen. And for a guy who's a running back, and I know the totals are low, but 410, you're saying he's not going to get in 1 in 4 times when this is the type of game where you're going to go to your running backs to finish drives. I think you're not going to be able to generate a lot of explosive plays. That price difference
Hmm.
is crazy. That's worth grabbing. John Mateer, the main touchdown guy for Oklahoma. So also this is kind of hedging your Bama ticket with good prices on some long shots. He's paying plus 170, the Oklahoma QB, to get the end zone, and he's been kind of the most consistent running guy for them on that team because they have a bit of a committee with Xavier Robinson and Torrey Blaylock. And the other books are showing minus 110 to plus 110. So another just crazy discrepancy, like 10% implied odds differential, which makes no sense. And then the last
Hmm.
one that I was highlighting is Daniel Hill, the running back for Bama. So one thing is Jam Miller hasn't been like fully healthy. He didn't play in that game versus Georgia. Obviously, he's still
Is
the
he
main
starting?
back. Yeah, Jam Miller's the main back, but Daniel Hill has been getting a lot of usage. Like this is a committee backfield. Same thing we're talking about with like Kyron Corum kind of situation. He's the Corum, and he's been finding the end zone, and they were paying plus 245, while other books were hanging about plus 180. So another space where you have even more of the game script lining up with it, as well as the price
Hmm.
differential. So yeah, I think. Target Bama in the under mainly, but if you want to take a few long shots on those prices, yeah, you got Torrey Blaylock at plus 410 and John Mateer at plus 170 at FanDuel and
I like
Daniel
that.
Hill plus 245 at DraftKings. Some good
I
picks.
think it's great.
All
I
right.
think college football in itself is going to be a good matchups along the board. Obviously, like we said last week, JMU and Tulane are straight
Yeah,
beef.
yeah, I think we're back in Miami too. You might be liking the money line. I like plus 3.5. Maybe get that out
Yeah,
there. We talked about it
yeah,
last
yeah.
week. Cause fuck it,
Let's
like
talk about
let's
it now.
just
Let's
yeah. I mean,
let's not delay it now.
yeah, so let's we're back in Miami plus 3.5. Maybe you'll be back in the money line, just two different angles. I just think field goals
Hmm.
is like if you're getting the field goal, it's kind of ridiculous. I think it opened at 2.5. So good time to jump on that before too many people say, "Oh, we're getting 3.5," and the line moves back down.
Yeah, but I think we can both agree. I think our angle is Miami in this. Um, like I said, we have Carson Beck, a seasoned veteran. He's played on Georgia. He knows the when the star light is on him, and I think the whole team's going to ride around them. So I think that's a good game to look at for the over, a good game to look
Yeah,
at certain
I,
angles.
I
But
like
yeah, I
Miami
think
to make a few explosive
we both
plays.
agree. I agree. Yeah.
I think that the one caution I had last week was about like the coaching for Texas A&M, and I do think that's still
Hmm.
something involved, but that's more of a reason like, hey, they're going to stay in this game. They're going to find ways to stay in this game.
Exactly,
And that's going to
exactly.
make
But
Miami,
fine,
they're going
fine.
to push the ball downfield and we're going to see an over, I think. I agree.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
perfect.
right, cool. So
All right,
what are we
so
getting into
Packers,
next?
Bears.
Packers, Bears, Saturday football. We got Saturday NFL
Yeah.
next.
So I looked at this game. Not a lot of lines are out. Let me look at the
Yeah, I
over-under
haven't looked
currently.
at this game at all. So what are you seeing?
I got some no props are out, and I'm not
Hmm.
gonna like just
Yeah.
go into that and start talking about who I think is gonna go off or not, who I think is gonna
What are
perform
you what are
well
you
in the
thinking
book
for
or
the
not.
game in general though? Because we're seeing a lot of
I
right?
think since it's a pick 'em right now, I think I like the Packers. Even though Micah Parsons
Definitely
is
agree.
out, they have a great secondary. They still have a great defensive line with Rashad Gary. No, is Rashad Gary still there? I think
Rashad
so. Yeah,
Gary.
Rashad Gary's still there. Yeah, Rashad Gary's still there. They got a decent linebacker crew, a decent cornerback safety crew,
They're just always
and
gonna be solid
I
on
think
defense with Matt LaFleur. Like he just knows how to coach
exactly.
defense. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. LeFleur.
LaFleur.
LeFleur is good. 46 and a half. Personally, I love, as you've known from me, I love an over. I don't know that. If I would do anything in this game, I would look at Packers money line or Packers all at plus three and a
I
half.
would
I
usually
think they're
be on the
plus
under, but without Parsons and like how early did he go down against Denver? I don't know. Because that game turned into a shootout. Like that game turned into a serious shootout, and I was on the under for this one.
I don't know. I think it was like
Because
early half or
is their
early
defense
second
maybe
half.
there's some holes for some big plays because they gave up 30 something points to Denver, who's like not a team that really like pushes the ball that explosively. They're kind of
Yeah,
just
yeah,
wear you down and play good defense. So
yeah.
I agree. Maybe this could be an over angle at 46 and a half. Like maybe the Packers defense isn't going to be what we expect. Like we were just saying, the
I
Packers
could see that.
defense is
Yeah,
always
yeah.
going
Yeah.
to be decent, but
Without
maybe
Parsons, it's a
this
huge
week
piece.
and the Bears like to go for big shots. So I guess if you're maybe one thing I'm kind of thinking here is you got two angles. You're looking at the over and you're looking at the Packers. And I like the Packers.
Hmm.
I think they're the better team. I agree. I think they should win this game. But maybe don't look at combining the two of them because then
They
you're
lose
kind
like
of working against
seventeen
you're
ten or
not yeah,
some.
yeah
Yeah,
your
yeah.
correlation is not really there if the Packers still
I
win.
agree. I agree.
So
But I
yeah.
just think that the Packers are starting to get it going with Jaden Reed coming back, wide receiver two, I think now. Christian Watson has been developing amazingly. The Bears have too many holes.
Yeah,
They've got a
exactly.
great potential for their future with Rome,
Yeah. Caleb
Manungai,
Monanga has been
DJ
cool.
Moore, Caleb. Yeah, I agree.
Austin
I think
Loveland.
Packers price to be a pick 'em. I think look for the Packers a little bit.
All right. So now we're gonna get into, some of the big storylines, some of the things that we've been looking at, discussing, arguing. So that I had this ticket. This is how these things go. Is like I have a bet and it like goes wrong, and then I'm like, why did that happen? And I have to look into this shit. And so I was on this Memphis Grizzlies Utah Jazz game because I was working on my NBA model, and I finally got it to a runnable state so I could like do a test game. And that was John Morant's return about a week ago, 4 or 5 days ago, and the Grizzlies had not lost to a team with a losing record this season. They had 11 losses at this point, but they had all their games were against that they lost were against good teams. So essentially, I was like, hey, Ja plays, Ja doesn't play. Grizzlies are going to win this.
Yeah,
Lo
yeah.
and behold, Keontae George drops like
I
37
love
fucking, and
Keontae George.
I've
Yeah.
been on Keontae George like, hey, this is a guy we need to be watching. He was great at Baylor. He was on a shitty Utah
Was
Jazz
he
system.
drafted to the Jazz?
Yeah, I drafted to the Jazz. He was one of like the top players in college at Baylor a few years ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, so great player, and like he has an incredible game. The Utah Jazz win by like 2 or 3 points, I think. Huge, high scoring game. And all of a sudden, I was watching this game. And I was like, I haven't thought a single thought about the Utah Jazz in like 3 years, other than how trash they are and how the lottery like shouldn't bless them. And then
Hmm.
all of a sudden, I'm like, this team's kind of good. Like I'm watching the pieces, a lot of young pieces. Markkanen's obviously just doing his thing. Nurkic is a great center. They've got like
Is Filipowski doing good too?
Filipowski's a great back. Yeah, dude, he's getting double doubles. Like he's been great recently. He got starting center the game after, which they won. So they won their next game and played great basketball beyond like another like maybe I think 39 from Keontae broke his record or something. That's 80 points almost in 2 games. And this team is so I started looking at their game logs. And like, yes, they started off really rough, but if you look into their past 10, 15, 20 games, they're like playing just under 500 and they're not like they only have two bad blowouts that are like, oh, that's a Utah Jazz game where when they were both to the Thunder, which is like acceptable in my opinion if they
Yeah,
lost
yeah,
by
yeah,
30
yeah,
to.
yeah,
So they had
obviously.
two losses by 30 to the Thunder. Then otherwise they're like losing and winning games against decent or like below decent teams. It's just kind of
That's
random.
great.
And it's
Yeah.
like within 5 points, they're beating some good teams. I think they beat the Heat. So they're playing like this is not a team that's in the Wizards Nets category anymore at all. It's a team I think like maybe we should be looking at. They could sneak into a play-in spot. Like they have a shit glues, and obviously like they might be just selling market in. I'm not really sure what that's gonna look
Yeah.
like at the deadline, but this is a team that's worth watching. Like it's not like if you hear the Utah Jazz are in a game, it's not like oh I'm not watching that game tonight anymore. In my
I
opinion, I
like
think they're a
that. I
fun
like
team.
that. That's a good take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I guess I'll just drop in a few college basketball sleepers. One of these is basically changing on us as we speak. I actually should check, did Vanderbilt win this game? Um,
I think they just did.
yeah, they took it away in the overtime. Yeah, it was going to overtime as we started recording, and they ended up winning by 7. So a few, I'm just
Well,
gonna look at a few
yeah.
guys like teams. I think right now, I'm not looking at championship winners yet, especially because the prices are not good enough on teams like Michigan and Duke, which I think are the guys.
Hmm.
And we're about 10 games in, so I think this is when you want to look for some long shot Final Four prices. It's not like, oh, these teams could not even make the tournament, and I'm totally
Yeah.
accepting that. But when you hear the lines, it's like, okay, we're pricing like these are long shots, and these are teams that are maybe being slept on. So the first one is Vanderbilt,
Hmm.
who's now 11-0. They're grabbing plus 850 at DraftKings to make the Final Four. This is the least crazy price, I think, but they're maybe like they have a few holes, I think, but their offense is insane. I mean, their offense is just incredible. They're big, they athletic. Like this is the type of team that if they're clicking and they keep clicking, they're gonna be really scary this season. And
Hmm.
SEC powerhouse is always scary to do something in the tournament. A couple other long shot prices were Indiana. They had a loss to Kentucky after I grabbed this, so that's not great, but at plus 3,000 to make the Final Four. Like they've already lost 3 games and like they could be fraudulent, but they're another
Have a
team that's
little, a little, a
super.
little, a little, little Mendoza chip on the shoulder too.
Yeah, they've got a really high ceiling. Like they shoot really well. They play really good offense.
Hmm.
This is the type of team that like they could make
It's
the
just
run.
about being consistent for them as well, because I've seen
Yeah,
a
these are
bunch of those
teams. So
games.
that's why I'm saying these. I'm not grabbing teams that are necessarily consistent yet. I'm grabbing teams that I'm like making long shots on, and
I
I
agree.
can see that.
Yep.
Nebraska, another one, plus 6,000. After they won that most recent game, I'm pretty sure it tanked pretty hard. But like they're 10-0. No 10-0 team should be plus, especially in a Big Ten, Big 12. Like I know they didn't have any really major wins, other than
Hmm.
blowing out Wisconsin, but now they do, and no one should be priced at 60-1 to make the
Yeah.
Final
I
Four.
agree. I
And
agree.
the last one I was looking at, I just grabbed this one, Iowa at plus 3,000 to make the Final Four. Another team that I've got ranked in the top 15 to 20. There's a lot of teams that I think are just being ranked on. The reason you get these values is like the teams like Florida who have already lost 5 games are have higher or lower odds than these teams because people just are like, oh, they won last season. So
Exactly.
people,
Exactly.
so there's some underlying mispricings. Also, a lot of these are at 500 points better than other books have them. Like, so there's a lot of mispricings between different books.
Hmm.
So it's like these are just a few lines that I think are. I put a few cents down on these. It's probably like
Exactly.
point 1 units combined.
Yeah.
One of these could pay us a full unit in 3 months from now.
I like
So
that. Yeah.
that's what I'm looking at. And I'll be tracking the boards and just giving you guys some long shot futures to place throughout the season because last season I was able to get the entire Final Four and Florida by like week 3. So that was one of my strong points. Yeah.
That's why you're the numbers guy. I'm the nonsense guy.
So that's what we've been
But
looking at. I think that's about it for this episode. Covered a lot of stuff. I think Tom will wrap it up for us.
yeah, so we talked a lot about NFL, talked a lot about NBA, some teams we want to look at, talked about some NHL trades. We talked about a lot about uh, Sunday night football and football heading on from now. A lot of stuff we want to like throw out to you. We're not saying you should put any money on it, should
Yeah,
like
yeah,
look
not
at it
like
too
futures.
much.
We're just shedding
Exactly.
light on some
We're
stuff.
just
Yeah.
shedding light about what we think could be something to look at for the future if these teams start going off. Just you heard it here first. But to wrap it up, I think that we're going to continue to talk about sports, continue to talk about our angles, continue to talk about statistics we like. And like we said, I'm glad that you've stuck with us through the first episode. Glad we are here for the second episode, and we're going to continue to talk about it. And hopefully, you see the Panthers banner right there and the hat back on. But thank you for watching this episode. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll be here every Wednesday doing this. So we hope to see you next Wednesday. Thank you.